Welcome back. In keeping with our theme, we are talking to our next guest because she, in fact, did publish her book. She published her book a year ago. She visited with us while the book was actually being printed, hot off the presses. And now, a year later, her life has changed. It has expanded. Shocking. It has gone in a million different directions. And I really believe that when we manifest our dreams, the universe comes up to support us. Welcome, Jean Peelen. Thank you so much for being back with us. We love you. And as you can see, your book is front and center on my shelf, Feisty, because I don't know a person in the world who titled a book more appropriately to their life story. How are you?
Well, I'm very good. I'm so happy to be back with you, Lauren. I enjoyed it so much last time, and here we are again. But in between, the world has changed.
Exactly. So we're talking about that dash, right?
Yes,
We saw you last year as the book was being published. You were excited and I think a little nervous, maybe,
yes.
but we turned that into a lot of excitement. And now that you've been out and about in the world as a published author at how old?
83.
Thank you very much.
Mhm.
You are an inspiration to us all.
Oh,
And I think then I even said to you, if I can't be your best friend, can I adopt you? Right?
that's funny.
So I would love for you to share with us a little bit about, the process, how you got to Feisty. I mean, you were born Feisty. You just manifested it later. But give us the quick and the skinny background, and then take us through the
Sure.
journey of this last year, which has been just amazing.
Will do. Absolutely. Feisty really was a product of the pandemic. I was bored out of my mind and, decided, well, what can I do? What can I do? I'm a mission-driven sort of person. So I started writing down stories about my life, not knowing it would become a book called Feisty, a memoir in little pieces, 65 moments from my life. So I just started writing, and sure enough, it turned into a book. So that brought us up to last year when you and I talked together, and it had just been published. And yes, I was scared to death that I would sell 5 books, two of them to my children and a couple of grandchildren. But what happened was that I realized that if Feisty is going to get out in the world and in the hands of women and men, that I needed to make it happen. And I was the only one who could. So I began learning the skills of promoting, of how you get out there, how you talk to people, how you want people to be interested in what you've done. And I started with friends and family because that's good practice, for
Definitely a warm audience.
yeah, yeah. And then I went to Florida for 3 months last year, and that's when I really geared it up. I contacted bookstores and libraries and senior citizens groups and you name it. I contacted them and said, I have a story to tell. I'd love to do it in your place, your whatever, and got an amazing reception for it. And so I started doing that. Well, did I have fun? And that led to creating a website, jeanpeelen.com. And that led to doing what do they call it? A video on what I speak about, a
Okay.
speaker's demo reel.
Right.
Okay.
A sizzle reel.
Right. So that was going on, and things are getting more and more exciting. I got back home here to North Carolina and started doing farmers markets and craft shows. And anywhere that will have me, I come and talk about my book. I started putting it in gift shops. I mean, this is all brand new. And one of the things I've discovered for every part of this journey is that if you're authentic, people can hear you. If you give people the space, the room to be real with you, it it's amazing what happens. My latest reinvention of self is TikTok. Now, I can hear people out there saying, "What? What?" I am having the best time on TikTok. What I have discovered, although I went there to sell my book, what I have discovered is that it's really me, authentically me, that I'm being on TikTok. And yes, it does sell my book because people have a reason for wanting to hear more. That's how it works. And I'm having so fun. I got on there with 3 followers, and I'm now up to almost 7,000
Oh,
followers.
in how much time?
A couple of months,
Okay.
you know, and of course now, let me say, this is not without cost. The cost is I had to learn about lighting. Oh, I know nothing about lighting, obviously, since all this light is behind me and you're supposed to have light in front of you. But I had to learn about lighting. I had to learn about microphones. I had to learn about stands that you put your camera on. All of this is brand new to me. I know nothing about it. There was so much to learn. At my place in life, learning is what it's about.
Yeah.
It's about what keeps me fresh, what keeps me vibrant,
Yeah.
what keeps me going.
And it keeps you relevant. And
Yes,
as you said, you are a mission-driven person.
I am.
At
I
this
am
point
indeed.
in your life, you get to be feisty in a whole new way.
I,
And that's why I was so excited to catch up with you here, because I really do believe that people dream of doing things.
yes,
So the fact that you were driven to write a book through boredom, a lot of us were driven to do things that we didn't know we had in us, or maybe we didn't have in us, but they appeared.
yes,
And we were inspired enough to follow that inspiration. And I think the writing a book is something that people are most familiar with. You know, writing a song, singing a song, learning a dance, painting a painting, you know, whether it's watercolor or oils, I think there's something in each of us, but having done it for the reason that you did, and
mhm,
now bringing it to life and how it has really expanded your journey.
yes. I want to say here also that the biggest gift for me was writing this book. And doesn't have to do with selling the book. It has to do with, it wasn't until I finished the book that I knew what my life had been about, that I understood for the first time that my life had had a purpose. It had had a through line. It had had an arc, which I didn't know. I thought my life was a series of random events until I wrote it down and saw it in front of me. That's why I developed this seminar I do called Write Your Life, where I encourage and really encourage everyone to write about their own lives. It's so revealing for yourself, and it's such a gift to yourself.
So you originally had a community, and you still do, called Old Women Who Write,
Yes,
and people can find that at oldwomenwhowrite.com, right?
yes, or on Facebook as a Facebook group.
Okay, but now you have Write Your Life. So tell us more about that.
Yeah. Write Your Life is, I thought about all the reasons one might want to write about their lives, leaving the pandemic out. But of course, the first one is family history. You want the legacy. You want to pass something on to your children, your children's children. A second is that you have some sort of message for the world, like that is of crucial importance to you, no matter what that message is. The third might be that you want to heal old wounds. Writing is one of the best methods, I think, for getting the old wound out there and helping it heal. And then the fourth was the one I discovered for myself, which was understanding your life. So for any of those 4 reasons, or maybe for all 4 reasons, I think it's just wonderful therapy, you might call it. I don't call it therapy, but therapy to indulge yourself, write about your life. And I love talking to people about that and going into the reasons and going into how to get started doing it.
So
Yeah.
you've got this workshop now, and how can people find you?
Well, they can find me first. Go to my website probably, and I can do the websites by Zoom. I can do them in person. Anybody wants to fly me anywhere, I'd be very happy, especially someplace cool at the moment,
Right?
or if it comes to winter, someplace warm.
Good luck finding that.
I
Yes.
know, I know, I know. So yeah, that's
Okay,
really
so
the
you have the webinars available virtually, in person, whatever, and people can
yes,
find you at jeanpellin.com, which we're going to put up on the screen,
great.
and connect with you there and get more information, because I know deep in my soul that there are people who have a book they want to write, whether it's the family recipes and life through the recipe story, whether it's their, life
Yes,
in small snippets like you did it, and event by event. I think you're right. I think it's a value for each of us to take the time and reflect
yes.
and leave that legacy. Jean, I'm so happy for you.
Thank
And
you.
just so you know, we talk about you here often,
Oh,
only glowing terms,
oh,
and so excited to hear such good news from you. I look forward to hearing and seeing more.
you.
And I'm going to go check out your webinar. So
Thank you.
for being with us, and we'll be right back.